The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Hey everyone, this is Nevin. Welcome back to the Fantasy Skirmisher. Today we're going to look at a brand new campaign book for Sellswords and Spellslingers called Close Quarter Battles. But this is not just a campaign book. It also includes rules for smaller, shorter battles, which is great for those of us who may have time or space constraints. So let me read the back cover of this book so we get a better sense of what this has to offer. You have been abducted and sold to the fighting pits of Lurkana. Vaelgor Cornan, the master of the White Dagger Company, presents you with a simple option: certain death in the fighting pits or 1 year compulsory service in his Sellswords company. Build a party of 2 to 3 heroes and fight in the alleys of Lurkana, the city that never sleeps. All scenarios are designed for 1.5 or 2 foot by 2 foot tables, and you'll fight in the streets, city squares, markets, gardens, meadows, and forests. Scenario after scenario, you'll discover rumors and interlude events to unveil an intricate plot. So you could play this either solo or with up to 3 players, with each player playing a single player character or PC. So let's go ahead and bring this to the table, take a closer look. Close Quarter Battles was written by Damien Foken, and the editing, layout, and graphics by Andreas Filigoy. The book can be purchased as a PDF, a softcover, or in my case, a hardcover book. So let's go ahead and open this up. As you can see right here, has 90 pages in this large supplement for Sellswords and Spellslingers. And the first few pages covers rules adaptations for the game system. So it recommends the number of PCs is limited to 2 or 3 with a budget of 20 experience points. It also limits the event cards for smaller games. And it also covers rules how to handle events. So for example, if you draw, things could get worse. You roll a d6 and then one of 3 things could happen depending on the roll, such as 1 to 2 mana flux, 3 to 4, loss of balance, or 5 to 6, that's a big one. So it's an easy way to limit the number of cards and to create more variety in the game. It also gives an important rule reminder about hordes, individual like loners, brutes, and make sure that they stay separated per the rule, because it's important for the smaller format. And it also discusses the size of enemy forces and a new type of horde creation, DLX, X being the number horde. And it also adjusts experience points for the games, and includes a new type of rough terrain called slippery guts. Since you're going to be in a smaller format, there may be bodies laying around, which will make it difficult to move over. So now they're treated as broken ground. It also has some adjustments for random deployment, because in the rule book it was 36 by 36 inches. Now they have it for 12 by 12, 18 by 18, 24 by 24, and 30 by 30 inches. So that way you can do the random deployments. And then it has some background information on the White Dagger, which plays prominently in the campaign. And it has background information on the city of Lurkana, the city that never sleeps, which takes place in the official fantasy world for Sellswords and Spellslingers and for Ganesha Games, Norendal. And so it has background information on the city or the world, and even has a website for additional information, which is a nice touch. And even nicer, as you can see here, it has background information on some of the personalities, groups, and locations in the city. And then it covers what you need to play the game. And one thing that is really nice is that it lists the types of miniatures you're going to need. So that way, before you start the campaign, you can start assembling your miniatures together. So besides your heroes, it's going to require a lot of men-at-arms, 12 to 20 of your favorite foes. So they could be orcs, goblins, ratmen, lizardmen, but you could substitute anything that you may have. So if you're a big Frostgrave player like I am, I've got a lot of gnolls, so I could swap those out for, say, goblins. And then you'll need some cultists and a number of human non-player characters to represent citizens, mobs, crazy hobos, vampire half-breeds, so on and so forth. And then also you're going to need some beastmen or human-sized minotaurs to represent the fierce Semu gladiators. And then you're going to need some dogs, bats, and rat swarms. So you're going to need quite a few miniatures, but it seems like these are all types of miniatures that we have. So the number of minis needed depends on the player character. So if you're playing with 2 PCs instead of 3, the average size of the foes will be adjusted accordingly. And also, I'm not sure how they're going to be used, but you're going to need 1 or 2 decks of standard poker cards. And then some tokens as well. So then we get into the campaign rules here. And it talks about the event deck, reputation, campaign progress, interlude events, campaign activities, gossips and rumors, multiplayer games, NPC management. And so the interlude events, I think, is really interesting because the story can unfold outside of the plot of the scenarios. So you could have little mini challenges in between the different acts. And then we have miscellaneous rules, such as rolling that 1d times PC I mentioned earlier, which is similar to the hordes. Rolling a natural 1 on ranged attack rolls, mundane and magic, ending a game with no foes in play, returning to the crime scene. So I guess, let's see here. If at the end of a scenario, the party isn't holding the ground but wants to come back to it, to loot the bodies of the foes, to search a hideout, to retrieve the body of a brother-in-arms, so on and so forth. It's got rules for that, and also a table of what you might find doing this search. And speaking of tables, it's got a lot of awesome random tables. So we've got hideout and loot table here. So the type of loot, the results. Also, it has a really expanded that may come in handy table as well. And we have a traps table and wandering monster table. And on the next page here, a things could get worse table. And if you notice the first one and the one with the most text, a clingy kid. So I think that will be interesting. And then it moves to the campaign begins. With this one, captured, caged, sold, whipped, and beaten. These are the horrible conditions you've been living for months since you've been captured by Karachi slavers on the edge of the Doratian Empire. After a month of a long and painful walk, the caravan finally reaches its destination, the majestic Lurkana, the city that never sleeps. There you are caged again, this time in the cells of the Guild of Civic Entertainments. The sight of these large arenas, the terrifying sounds of clashes, blades, the screams of wild beasts tell you that your future isn't bright anymore. So then it goes into Act 1, Blood on the Sand, basic, and then of course advanced, like a lot of the scenarios have. Then the terrain has a round arena between 16 and 20 inches in diameter. And that's where I want to show you this. I was looking for an arena online and came across this Mats by Mars. And it's really beautiful and perfect for the game. And this won't be limited to just playing this one scenario or act, as they call it. This is really going to come in handy because it could be used for multiple things, not only just various games from different systems, but also what a great way to maybe build up your character. For example, if you need to get caught up in Rangers of Shadow Deep or something like that, so you could join a campaign with your friends who are at a higher level. All right, back to the first act. And let's just say at least one of your player characters survived the slaughter of the arena. You read part of the story here. It unlocks certain things that your characters do or get. And one thing I think is very interesting about this campaign book is you're not just going sequentially from scenario to scenario to scenario, or as I say, in this book, acts, as they call them. You could go straight to Act 2, but you also have a couple side quests you could do, such as the market or pest control. So it has the rules for these side quests. The Bazaar of Medir Saran has information about the White Dagger here that you could join, and lots of different tables for the marketplace that you could purchase equipment. So this really just opens up the game system, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm just looking at this for the first time with you, but I'm really excited to get this on the table here. Side quest 1, the market. And I'm sure side quest 2 is here somewhere. Here we go, pest control. Side quest 2. And then you move on to Act 2. So again, it sets up the act or the scenario with a story, the background information, setup, special rules, everything else. And it continues all the way close to the end of the book here. And I don't want to obviously go through all these because I don't want to spoil it for myself or for you either. Gossips and rumors. Act 4, there's a couple things in the back I want to bring to your attention. And this is how I learned what type of maps I need. This is a really nice appendix here with suggested map layouts for the different acts. So here you can see the arena, and when I saw this Mats by Mars mat, I think this is the inspiration for this scenario. And then it's got indoor, tavern or market, or this is like an outdoor market. And you can see just the different type of map layouts. They don't look too complicated or too specific, unlike some other games such as Rangers of Shadow Deep. So I think this is a real nice touch. And then it has the different characters that are in the campaign, such as the city guardsmen, crazy hobos, dire bats, cult worshippers, gladiators, so on and so forth. So you don't need a card. You've got all that information right here. And then the very last page is a quick reference tables. So the random deployment, the event card makeup, and miscellaneous rules. So really nice touch. I'm excited to get playing this. Probably in an upcoming episode, I will have this scenario ready to go to play. I need to get some beastmen painted up first. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching the Fantasy Skirmisher. And if you like what I do, just please let me know. I'm just kind of doing this as a creative outlet, but it's nice to know that you guys are watching. Appreciate it. So if you could like or subscribe, I would appreciate it. All right, guys, until next time, bye-bye.